Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Prince Automation Destination. This side Prince. I hope you are doing well. So today let us discuss about another interesting topic, that is cross-browser parallel execution in Selenium along with Testng. As you are aware that parallel execution is very crucial for any framework as it helps executing the test cases quickly in the parallel manner, and this is the demand of market as well. One such aspect is cross-browser parallel execution. This is what we are going to discuss as part of current discussion. So what is cross-browser parallel execution? So in case we want to execute the same test cases against different browsers, that too parallelly, so this concept is known as cross-browser parallel testing, right? So this is what we are going to discuss. Now, what is the prerequisite in order to understand the current session? You should have some knowledge on parallel execution in Selenium, on how to execute test cases in parallel. You should have some understanding of Selenium, and singleton design pattern knowledge is optional. We are utilizing singleton design pattern for driver initialization. Though I'll be covering all of these as part of current lecture at high level, in case you want to understand them at low level, I have already covered separate videos on these topics. I'll be sharing the link of parallel execution as well as singleton design pattern in icon. Now the use case. Use case is we want to execute the same test cases against multiple browsers so that we can achieve cross-browser test cases execution parallelly, right? So this is the use case from diagram point of view. So let us say we have one test case 1 and we want to execute it against Chrome, Edge and Firefox and any other browser, but we want to execute them in parallel. So as soon as we started the execution, we want the same test case to be executed in Chrome, Edge and Firefox. So this is the use case. Now let me come back to the Testng framework. So this is the Testng framework where which is built on top of Maven, right? So we have chain test dependency. We are utilizing chain test report, which is the successor of extend report. We are utilizing Selenium version 4.19, so we don't need to download the driver exe manually, and we are utilizing Testng, right? So now let us create a sample test case in this particular framework, right? So if I'll talk about the project structure, so I'll go to src test java, and under src test java I have created one tests directory or tests package. Here I have created one package, cross browser parallel execution. Here I'm going to create one class and let me give it name cross browser, right? And then after, what we are going to do is I'm going to this particular source demo flow which we have already covered, and I'm simply going to copy this particular line of code and I'll explain you what I'm going to do. So in Testng, this is how we create a test class, and inside this is how we add the test case, right? So here in this case, what we are doing is we are getting the driver instance. So I'll discuss about this, right? And then we are launching the application. We are entering username and password, and we are clicking on login. So let us cut short it, right? Let me remove this section, right? And this is the chain test log part, which we are utilizing to add the log to the chain test report, right? And chain test report is successor of extend report, and we have already covered a series on this. In case you want to understand, I will be sharing the link of same in icon, right? Now as we're going to get this particular driver, right? So let us go inside this particular get driver method, right? So this particular get driver method belongs to this particular create driver, and this create driver class is a singleton design pattern based class for initialization of driver, right? So let us discuss it one by one. So this is the class name, and this is constructor which is private. As a result, we cannot create the object of it from outside, right, by typing new create driver, right, because it is not accessible, right? So for that purpose, what we have done is we have defined one static method which can be called using the class name. So create driver dot get instance, right? This is how we can call this particular thing. So whenever this particular get instance method will be called for the first time, it will check instance equal to null. If it is null, which is going to be null for the very first time, and then it is going to assign the driver object, this class object, right? And it is going to return the instance, and then after, wherever we'll be utilizing it, we'll be getting the same instance, right? We'll be getting the object of it, right? Now let us come back to this cross browser, right? So if you will notice, we are getting it. So this get driver method is to get it, right? But apart from it, we have one set driver method, right? So after creating object of it, first of all, we need to call this particular set driver method to set the respective driver. So in case we want to create Chrome driver, we'll be passing Chrome. In case we want to create Edge, we'll be passing Edge, right? So let me come back here, and I'm going to use a different annotation, that is @before method. We can do it in same class, or we can create one base test which we can extend in this particular class, and we can define before method there as well. But let us keep it short and let us define it here, and let me give it name public void setup, right? Because we are going to set it up. So create driver dot get instance, which is the static method, dot set driver, and here I'll be passing Chrome because we want to execute in Chrome for now, right? Similarly, I'll be creating another method, right, which would be after method, or tear down method, right? So that after I'll explain you what exactly is it after method, and let me give it name tear down, and get driver dot quit, right? So what is the purpose of before method? Before method is used to execute before every test method in this particular class, if I'll talk about, right? So whenever this particular test case will execute, before this particular method will be executed, where we are defining the driver, and using this create driver dot get instance, here we are getting it, and at last again using this get driver method we are getting it, and we are quitting it, right? So now let us execute this, right? So for that purpose, I'll be going to Testng.xml, and here I'll be pointing to this particular class. So we have one test block. This is suite name, parallel equal to methods, thread count equal to 1. We'll discuss all these things, right? Now we are going to point to this particular class, right? So this is how we can point it, right? And let me run it. And now what will happen is it should launch Chrome browser, and it should be able to execute the test case. So let us see the same first. So you see test case is again executed against Chrome, right? So now what we will do is, instead of passing Chrome from here, what we will do is we will pass it from Testng.xml, right? So I'll go here, and under test section, I'll simply hit enter, and I'll add parameter. I'll define the name of parameter, and let us give it name Chrome, right? And let me come back to cross browser. There was one typo error in setup, right? So now what I will do is I'll add one annotation, that is @parameters, and here I'll be defining browser, right? And same parameter we need to pass here. Now instead of passing the hard-coded value, we will be passing it from here. You will soon understand why I'm doing this, right? Now I'm going to execute this particular test case once again, and let us see, it should execute smoothly against the Chrome browser. So you see it has executed the test cases against Chrome browser. Now what if we want to execute the same test case against Edge? So we'll simply pass Edge here, but our requirement is to execute the same test case against Chrome as well as Edge, that too parallelly. So what we'll do is we'll simply copy this test block, and we will paste it here, and here we will pass Edge, right? Now in order to execute test cases in parallel in Testng, we'll have to utilize this Testng.xml configuration file, and here we can change different parameters, that is parallel. We have already covered a low level video. I'll be sharing the link of same in the eye icon, where you can understand what is the meaning of parallel equal to test, method, and classes. But in this case we are going to use test because we are executing these test blocks in parallel, right? And let us change their name, source demo 1 and source demo 2, and we'll have to make thread count equal to 2. So thread count equal to 2 will say that there would be two threads that would be issued. One will be assigned to this particular block, and one would be assigned to this particular block, and they both would be running parallelly, right? Now what we will do is we will simply execute this Testng.xml once again. So this time it should launch Chrome as well as Edge, and it should execute the same test case against Chrome as well as Edge. So let us see, right? So if you will notice, there are two instances getting launched, right? So one is Chrome, which got launched, and Edge is also launched, right? So let us wait for the completion, and let me show you the chain test report. In case you want to understand chain test report, I'll be sharing the link of same. So if you will notice here, like this test case is executed 2 times, verify item in cart, right? So this is how the test case can be executed in cross-browser manner against different browsers. So as part of the exercise, what I will request you is you add additional browser, that is Firefox. So for that purpose, you will have to make changes in create driver, and I would request you to please create your own driver, right? In case you want to get this particular repository, you can comment in the YouTube section. I'll be posting the link of it, right? But for now, I'm not posting it. I would request you to please practice it on your own, right? And execute against Chrome, Edge, and Firefox. And this is what I wanted to discuss, guys, as part of current lecture. Thank you for watching. I would request you to please like, share, subscribe. Thank you once again.